He was running downfield just about as hard as another kid was running back at him. They just collided, and it took them both a second to get up. It took the other kid a little bit longer. Everyone in the stands did. What I know of concussions is what a lot of people think is that it's just a temporary thing, just lasts a couple of days and then you're back in the game. And when you have a player who makes a hard hit like that and they pull him out of the game, all they're thinking about is getting back in. We come from a small community. A lot of us volunteer for youth sports, and we get to know these kids as team moms or just as board members. They all become our children. We know their names, we know how they stand, we know what they're like, and we're equally concerned about all of them.
You know, my child, the 22-year-old, he would get knocked down and hit so hard that when he stood up, he would walk sideways. And the coaches would grab his helmet and look at him and hold up fingers, and they'd look at me and say, okay. So I just trusted he was okay, which in fact he really wasn't. The smaller twin is smaller than the 22-year-old was, so he's little bitty. I don't want him to have long-term effects from a concussion. And after watching the 22-year-old, he has long-term effects from multiple concussions. So that's difficult for me, very.
I've been hearing a lot about concussions. It just kept popping up. NFL players that had too many concussions are killing themselves. Then our state passes a law about concussion. You know, it's a hot topic.
Head injuries in football have been an issue for over a century, and still parents are asking questions. In 2012, Brooke DeLynch assembled a team of world-class experts to help Newcastle implement a concussion risk management program she calls the 6 Pillars.
Who's had a concussion in this room?
There was a time that I've gotten a concussion. I didn't think much of it, you know, just a headache, move on with it, keep playing. Happened, I think last year. Yeah, hit pretty hard, helmet to helmet. Couldn't see, saw stars everywhere. Just walked back onto the field, started playing again. Didn't need to tell anyone. I mean, it's not like I was laying down, couldn't get up or anything. I thought I was fine.
I always have headaches after football games, but nothing
Tell us
like.
about the headaches after the football game.
It's just, I don't know, it's mainly first half and halftime. I usually take ibuprofen at halftime, just maybe get some of that away.
It really does depend on who we play, because obviously when we play a bigger team, you're gonna get hit harder. But I'll come in, I'll take some Tylenol, ibuprofen. But the next morning though, after a game, you'll wake up and you'll sometimes have a headache, and your whole body will just ache.
One of the things about concussion, it's so terribly under-recognized. It's called the silent epidemic, and studies show anywhere from 65 to 80% of initial concussions are missed because the symptoms initially are subtle. And people are looking for things like you see with a brain bleed, or they're looking for somebody totally knocked out and carted off the field.
The word concussion means to violently shake, and that's really what's happening to the brain. And what happens when the brain gets hit and bruised, it doesn't work well.
You can have different symptoms. They range from things such as headache and nausea and vomiting, but it could be feeling mentally slow,
Visual problems, sensitivity to light, ringing in the ears, balance problems.
having difficulty sleeping, feeling a little more irritable.
Some kids are very emotional, depression problems, sadness, nervousness, crying, laughing uncontrollably.
Attention concentration's off, feeling slowed down.
There's so many different ways concussion present that it's very hard to just tell a kid or a coach or a parent, this is the one symptom to look for, because there's all these symptoms. Are you kidding me?